It's The Local Show on News Radio 570 WSYR, a service of Geddes Federal Savings and Loan and Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts. The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in Central New York. The Local Show is locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now, your hosts, Tom and Steve.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. You've got The Local Show, the 2023 Halloween edition. And I'm your host, Tom Soccocio Jr.
Halloween? Just don't do that to me.
Yeah, well, it's
Halloween.
It'll be coming up during the week. Did you get your candy, your bags of candy?
No, Tom, no.
First thing Dr. Barry asked me, he said, "Are you a candy nut? Do you?" And I go, "No, I don't like candy."
Was he trying to say don't be? Was it leading?
He just thought that, possibly I might lean into candy, and I don't. I'm not a
my 9-year-old mom has a bag of candy by her bed, so I'm just saying. So go ahead, do that thing with your opening. I interrupted you. So
The Local Show features conversations about local businesses. We talk to the business owners, the CEOs and CFOs, entrepreneurs, nonprofits, business advocates, and other business-friendly organizations. We learn how they got into business, why they do business right here in Syracuse, New York, and where their businesses might be going in the future. You're going to hear all about their successes, their challenges, opportunities, marketing, and advertising. We're broadcasting from the Zoey Advertising Studios, sponsored by Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts and Geddes Federal Savings and Loan. And we say hello to Steve again.
yeah, well, a little warmer.
Twice in one morning.
Warmer in the week. I'm going to be creeping out here in the evenings and then the more early mornings trying to catch the walleye. I did get one last week, cleaned it up, and to my wife's thrill, she wasn't there. She was out for the night, so I cleaned it, cooked it, ate it, and it was gone. Because every time I do, she's like, she sounds just like that, actually.
Right.
So, so I'm looking for to get my limit one night here and 5 walleyes.
Yeah, was her mother Charlie Brown's teacher?
No, not at all. When it comes to fishing, maybe. Maybe.
Did either one of you like frog legs?
I've had frog legs.
I used to when I was a kid.
Yeah. My grandmother loved frog legs.
Yeah,
when they're done right, they taste like chicken.
It is sad seeing the frogs wander around without legs. Though.
Well, it is. Yeah, that's tough.
There's a far side for that.
Yeah, right. I don't think they can grow them back, can they? That's terrible.
No.
Poor frogs. Anyway, we've got a great show packed up for you, ladies and gentlemen. Attorney John Murphy, the owner of Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts, will be with us. In the first segment, Lori Hunter Hollow Bunny B&B. She might bring a rabbit by. Going to pull a rabbit out of her hat. We'll have her on the show. Matt Major, the founder of Your Local IT Department, stops by. Julie Fleck from Care Patrol will tell us all about that business. Charlie Van Patten, owner of Mattress Maker, stops by. Chris Dambach is the owner of Industry Standard USA. He's a veteran and does some interesting stuff in the community. We'll talk with him. Brian Dumond, president of Geddes Federal Savings and Loan. He stops by, and then Troy Waffner is the CEO of the SPCA. So we're going to talk with him and see what they're doing with their dog and cat situation over there. Right now, we say good morning to Attorney John Murphy. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing well.
Very good, my friend. Very
early here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Have you come off the high from the Living with Dementia conference that Sheila?
Oh yeah, thanks to Sheila Ostrom, I was able to address a room full of people.
A full room.
Yeah, it was great, very attentive audience, and would have been great for Q&A, but just too many people.
Yeah.
And the moderator did a great job, Melissa Murphy, and Sheila did a great job putting this on, and I was just happy to be part of it and give some people some information on Medicaid and qualifying for Medicaid to pay for nursing homes and why Medicaid really gets a bad rap.
No, Tom, the Embassy Suites, you've been there
Absolutely.
right over here by that mall. And they have the big room full,
yes.
right, John? I mean,
full.
There wouldn't have been room for a dance floor. I mean, this was wall to wall, and the information, I was there for much of it, was very interesting stuff.
Yeah, it's amazing. We actually had Alzheimer's Association into our office last week. We tried to do some lunch and learn types of things for the staff. And it's a terrible, terrible disease, and this was a great resource for Sheila. And I'm told her I was so happy that this went off well, the inaugural one. So I'm sure they're going to get better and better and better.
I remember, so if people don't know Sheila from Senior Home Care Solutions, she came in maybe 6 months ago. Yeah. I'm going to do a conference. And that's how she talks. She's very passionate. She said, I'm just going to do it. I don't know. And she was focused and she started with 0 attendees, 0 sponsors. Must have been 30 vendors there, probably, John.
Oh, at least the hallway in front of the room, and then down the side was all the way to like the restroom breakfast area was both sides.
Yeah. Did you happen to hear what they're doing at the Nappy Wellness Center? Was there anything special?
I did not. I had to be in and out just because I had other appointments.
That was part of it. They were there.
They were a big part.
They were a big part. John, when you were there, were there any people pulling you aside and saying, "Hey, lawyer," and firing you a question? Was there any of that going on? If so, what was that about?
Well, mostly when we do these things, I have my team there, and my team kind of really handles all that stuff. I do get some technical legal questions, but most of the people would rather talk to my team members, right? Sometimes they're
better
apprehensive. They're fantastically better looking. Sometimes a little apprehensive talking to an attorney.
Well,
or think we're trying to
because
sell
you wear
something.
those flowing robes and everything.
Well, yeah, just to remind you.
No, just a side note. He did have a new sports coat, Tom.
Oh, did he?
Because the attorney has lost a little weight over the last year.
Did it have patches on the arms?
And I went and I said, "Hey, look at that." I said, "The coat's big." And he goes, "It's not. It's new." And it was. He looked.
Wasn't too big, but
he looked sharp. What were the questions in the forum? What were people asking?
There were questions that were done for Sheila had questions taking them.
Right.
So, should you get Medicaid, or can we, if we do some asset protection, we're not going to be able to get into the nursing home that we want to, which is wrong. If you do asset protection the correct way, you'll always have money to get into any nursing home should you need to, via a couple ways. You'll always have your retirement accounts that you can access, or through your trust planning, you can get out money to get into a nursing home. The other was, do I really want to be on Medicaid? There's a great misnomer out there. Talk about fake news, right? That you get less care if you're a Medicaid patient than if you are private pay in a nursing home. That's absolutely not true. The people caring for you don't know who's paying the bill.
Okay.
And it's actually illegal at both a federal and state level to treat you differently depending on who's paying the bill.
But every nursing home doesn't have to take Medicaid, right?
They do not.
Okay.
So some don't. Very few do not.
Okay. Because eventually, if someone doesn't make a plan, everyone runs out of money. Well, not everyone, but most people are going to run out of money at, how much is a nursing home?
Right now, $16,000 to $18,000 in our area a month.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, that math is a lot.
I'm already out of the box.
All right, 16 times 12. Go ahead, Tom. Go.
Yeah.
Okay.
192.
There's always somebody in the room.
So, yeah, and people don't realize that, I don't think. And, of course, nobody's ever going to go into a nursing home.
Right.
But yet they're full.
Okay.
Right.
Okay, so briefly, someone, I don't know if you talked about probate. Someone dies with an old will or a will. Just briefly unpack probate.
So, again, I just had a phone call with a lady the other day, yesterday. She couldn't understand why this had to happen. So her husband had died. He had a will. He also had a trust, but nothing was ever put into the trust. Okay. So he owned their property just in his name. And so the will had to be submitted to the probate court in New York State called surrogates court in order for the judge to approve the will. And she said, "Why? He left me everything." I said, "Well, his will left you everything, but his will hasn't been authenticated by the court." "Well, of course it's his will." "Well, that doesn't work that way, right? So it has to go to the court, and the court doesn't care who he gave things to for the most part. Was the will done correctly? That's what they're looking for. Were the person's heirs given notice of the will? Do they agree with the will? Do they want to contest the will? That's the probate process. And people just are flummoxed by why that has to be, and it kind of is.
Yeah. You know? Well, who wants to get in touch with John Murphy?
I don't know.
And how?
It's a piece of cake, safeharborwillsandtrust.com. So just put Safe Harbor, you'll find them online. 370-9977. Your case managers are standing by. I don't know if they're standing by. It's the weekend, but they will get back to you.
No, we're there 24/7. We just hook up
they get
a headset to them, and they have to wear it all weekend.
Answer a quick question. An old will is an old will. Without a trust, you mentioned people are typically in trouble. So 370-9977. John Murphy and the team at safeharborwillsandtrust.com.
Great. Thank you, John, and you have a great rest of the day, okay?
Thanks. You guys too.
Awesome. Lori Hunter's coming up next. She's the owner of Hunter Hollow Bunny B&B. We'll find out all about it on The Local Show on 570 WSYR.
Welcome back to The Local Show, a service of Gettys Federal Savings and Loan and Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts. The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in Central New York. The Local Show, locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now, here are your hosts, Tom and Steve.
Back again, right here on 570 WSYR, 106.9 FM. This is The Local Show. Thank you for joining Steve and I. It was nice enough for Steve to wear his Halloween costume. You can take that mask off. Oh,
it's just me,
It's
Tom.
just you.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Well, you scared the heck out of me. So if you were watching us on YouTube, and we do have a vibrant YouTube channel, you can check it out at Zoey Advertising 3809, or just search up Zoey Advertising. You'll see a bunch of videos on there of what we do, some creative stuff, and then some things we do with construction companies and statuses and things like that, as well as clips from The Local Show, and Steve holding a bunny right now,
Oh my
a rabbit.
gosh. I'm holding a rabbit, Tom.
Or a bunny rabbit.
And it's like he just shuddered. Did that mean I scared him? Or he just-
It's her, and no, she's just relaxing into you.
Yes, it's definitely a woman.
Hey, Gettys Federal Savings and Loan is going to be coming on the show later. We got Brian Dumond. I don't know how much you want to say about it now.
Oh, I can still brag about that.
Yeah.
If you're, the CD rates are going up. The market is all over the place. If you feel better getting a real good return on your savings that you've worked for, get it locally. Get it over at Gettys. And I like the description. Across from the big hill you can't slide down anymore.
Right. That's one
and
of them.
Gettys, and near the trout stream in Manlius in Limestone Plaza, next to that diner that really is good. But talk to local people. They're great. Get it at Gettys. Gettys Federal Savings and Loan.com, Tom.
Annie Laurie is back with us. Annie Laurie Hunter is the owner of Hunter Hollow Bunny B&B. You can see them at hunterhollow.org. Hunterhollow.org. How are you, Annie Laurie?
Thanks for having us back.
Do I call you Laurie or Annie?
It's Annie Laurie.
Annie Laurie all together? All the
together.
time.
Yeah, like Mary Beth, Tom. You just don't call Beth or Mary. It's
Yeah. All right. So we'll have Steve address you. Go ahead, Steve.
So you're in the bunny business. How did that happen?
People started bringing me bunnies, and we needed an exit strategy, so became a 501c3 and working with vets and getting them back out the door.
Well, why nobody brought me a bunny? So why did they bring you bunnies? How'd that happen?
I had been a foster parent with different organizations, and I had left that and was just doing wildlife rehab, but I ended up with domestics too.
Okay, so you adopt out rabbits.
Yes. The
Okay.
bunnies come in, they get spayed or neutered, they get vaccinated, and then out the door.
Okay, so you don't like to hold them for months and years. These are you rotate bunnies.
We do. We've had over 135 adoptions so far this year.
That's pretty good,
That's
huh?
great.
We have
So who makes a rabbit? Who should have a rabbit as a pet and who shouldn't, Tom? Who should not have a rabbit as a pet?
Bunnies are great in quiet households. So, if there's a lot of noise and a lot of chaos, that's not a good house for a bunny. Bunnies are not great with people with little tiny kids, the toddlers, because toddlers end up falling, and bunnies are very fragile. So people who have got quiet households, adult households, are really wonderful for rabbits.
Okay. Can you teach a rabbit any new tricks?
Yes.
Tell me more.
You can teach them to play with you, to come. They know their names. They can have about a 30-word vocabulary.
No
that
kidding.
They can
You
understand.
mean they
Yeah.
speak? Oh, they understand.
They understand. Yeah.
I thought they were talking.
I mean, our bunnies have written books, but he's bunny dictate, and they've written books. But it's
Can a bunny
That's pretty
coexist with a dog?
depends on the dog.
Tell me more.
Well, a hound dog might not work,
Yeah,
right?
if you've got a beagle, it's not a good idea.
Yeah.
If you got a bred hunting dog, that's probably not a good idea. If you got a dog that likes to throw things around, not a good idea. But then there's a lot of other dogs that are herders, the collies and stuff like that,
Yeah.
where they get along just fine.
Right.
If you have a nurturing dog or a herding dog, then it's probably a fine thing.
Okay, so I know we talked about this before, but in case someone missed that, wild rabbit. Someone finds a wild rabbit. Maybe they're mowing the lawn, and here's a little baby bunny.
I have lots of them.
Okay, popping along, and where's Mama? And there's a baby the size of my hand, which means it's big. 'Cause I'm a big guy. What should someone do? And then how does that work?
To the degree possible, leave it be. All right, unless it's injured or cold, or something like that, then leave it be. Mom will come back and take care of it, and that's the best thing. If you can't do that, if it's injured or not okay, or if it's cold, then you want to bring it to a wildlife rehab specialist.
Okay, is that you or is that somebody else?
It's me, but there's others also. I'm not the only wildlife rehab specialist.
Okay.
But I am a wildlife rehab specialist.
Okay, so that rabbit that's hopping around in Tom's yard.
We have lots of them. I must have 5, 6, 7 of them up back there.
Oh,
yeah.
The rabbits.
And they're pretty big
Are there
now.
an extreme amount of rabbits, or are we just noticing them right now?
There's a lot of rabbits right now. It's cyclical. So we've got a lot right now, and we're vaccinating right now against rabbit hemorrhagic viral disease 2, which is not in the New York area yet. But when it comes, it's going to decimate the population.
Really?
So how do we vaccinate wild rabbits?
You can't.
Okay.
So it's really important that we keep the domestics without the disease. If the longer that we can keep the domestics without the disease, then the less chance that the disease is going to end up in the community.
I see. How long is the lifespan of those rabbits that are under my shed?
About 3 years.
That's it, huh?
Yeah.
But they don't reproduce.
Well, yeah.
So all right. So the whole thing, they reproduce like rabbits.
Yeah.
Tell us what's the math on a rabbit that becomes more than one rabbit?
Okay, so gestation period is every 30 days. As soon as a bunny has a bunny, it can get pregnant again.
Oh, my goodness.
So when people buy 2 bunnies and they're the same gender, except they're not, and then 30 days later they have bunnies, but they weren't expecting them, so Ma and Pa are still in the same cage, 30 days later, you're going to have another litter.
Oh, no kidding.
Wait, 30. So a 1-month-old rabbit can have rabbits?
No, you got to be 4 to 6 months old before you can have your first one.
And then we're rolling.
And then you're rolling. So people are buying bunnies that are 8 weeks old it's really tough to tell. And then, a couple months later, they're getting bunnies, and then they're getting bunnies, and then they're getting bunnies. And suddenly you went from 2 or 3 rabbits to 27 rabbits in a matter of months.
So you have rabbits that people could adopt today?
We have 108 of them that are ready for adoption right now.
Very nice.
Yeah.
What else does your company do? What do you want to tell people about your company?
We got volunteer opportunities for kids if they want to do, 12 and up. If
Okay.
you need to do community service, they can get in touch with us.
Mm-hmm.
We do have 110 that are ready for adoption.
Oh, my.
Yeah.
So briefly, this is a family show. What does it mean when the rabbit dies, and where did that term come from? Do you know?
Pregnancy test.
So what's the deal with the rabbit?
So they would inject the rabbit with human blood or whatever,
right,
and it would react. So they would have to kill the rabbit to check the uterus.
Okay, and that's how they did a pregnancy test.
That was how they did pregnancy.
Tom looks
tests.
shocked. You remember that, Tom?
Yeah,
Tom looks horrified that I even mentioned that.
Yes, I know.
I see the horror.
I'm horrified by most of the things you say, but
Yeah.
So
that was the old.
that one
pregnancy
particular.
So at hunterhollow.org.
Right, hunterhollow.org.
So I know last time we had several listeners that reached out and said, "Hey, you know what? A rabbit would be a great pet," and they started the
we had
conversation.
adoptions and we had people try to bring rabbits in. Right now, we are closed for all intakes. It doesn't matter what the situation is. We are shut down.
You need some outtake.
We need a serious amount of outtake.
Yeah.
We still have 40 rabbits that are in unconditioned space. So we're going into winter, and we've got to get. We got 40 rabbits that we've got to get.
Well, it could make
adopted out.
a nice Christmas gift.
Well, for the right person.
For the right person.
For the right person.
family. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
thinking
Right.
seniors would love a rabbit. That's where I'm going.
Yeah,
good.
adults, yes.
Well, great.
Very nice.
hunterhollow.org, Tom.
There you go. Annie Laurie, thank you very much for being here, okay?
Thanks for having us.
All right. Coming up next, Matt Major, founder of your local IT department right here on The Local Show on 570 WSYR.
Welcome back to The Local Show, a service of Gettys Federal Savings and Loan and Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts. The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in Central New York. The Local Show, locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now, here are your hosts, Tom and Steve.
Creeping back into The Local Show with my favorite creep, Steve Roberts. I'm Tom Soccocio Jr., and I'm the creative director over here at Zoey Advertising. And there you go.
I'm supposed to comment, and I'm just going to let it go, Tom.
You don't have to comment.
You're right. Did you call me a creep?
Yes, I did.
Okay, just to be clear.
You don't have to comment.
Thank you.
I think people pretty much know that.
Thank you, Pumpkinhead.
We're on YouTube. You can check us out on YouTube and see exactly how we look. We've dressed up nicely for the Halloween festivities.
No, we haven't.
Shh, I was trying to get people to go over to the YouTube channel.
We were having a conversation yesterday here about the early Zoom calls 3-4 years ago.
Yes.
You know, where Joe, who's on the team, we were like, Joe, get a blanket.
Yeah, he would have his underwear.
Yeah, he denies it, but it was like, Joe. People would show up and like, it was always 8 o'clock, and people kind of happy.
He was in his boxers.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, it's my pleasure to bring on the show again, Matt Major, and probably your pleasure too, I would imagine. He's the founder of Your Local IT Department. How are you, Matt?
I'm doing good, guys. Thanks for having me again.
Well, Your Local IT Department, how long have you been doing that business?
This particular company is only a few years old, but I've been in the industry. I've been in the IT business for close to 30 years, as crazy as that sounds.
So if a young person asks you what a mainframe is, what would you tell them? How would you describe a mainframe?
Well, I don't know that many young people are asking me that question, Tom.
Tom, it's the one that holds the largest photo on the wall.
No.
You know what's funny is back in the day, that old mainframe model, it's the way computers started, right? You had this one massive computer that took up a whole room, and every terminal in the building was just a screen and a keyboard. It worked off that mainframe. And then we got away from it. We got to the PC, right? The personal computer with IBM, the laptops, everything we have these days.
Yep.
But now we're going sort of back to the mainframe model with the cloud. That's what that is.
Oh,
it's a centralized machine, and all of ours are, you got these Chromebooks that are very low-powered computers, but they access, and all the processing power happens on a server somewhere. So we're almost back to that, even though nobody uses that term anymore.
We had a question from a guest here. It said, is the mainframe, is the cloud the Antichrist?
Oh, no. That's crazy.
Okay. No. Everything's there. Our life is there, right?
The cloud is just somebody else's computer. That's the long and short of it.
Yeah. Now, Matt's whole idea behind the business is that he is your local IT department, and IT can mean a lot of things. It can mean your phones. It can mean your the way people secure their information, right? Things like that. So you deal with security.
Almost everything electronic these days. It used to be I started out in this business and I was the computer guy and I worked on computers and that was, enough to like a mainframe. Everybody knew what you were talking about. Today, the term in business is IT, which is information technology is what that's shortened for. But it's come to become, like you said, literally everything. All of these things, security cameras, door locks, elevators, all are things that are now on a network that we are tasked to maintain. So we need to get into all of those worlds as just a matter of
so when someone
doing the
screams,
job.
fix it, the IT, it's because there's a problem.
Right.
I mean, do people just wake up and go, I'm thinking I need more RAM? They probably don't think that unless there's an issue.
In theory, yeah. That's usually what happens. Yeah, it's very. In many cases, it can be very reactive, and that's what happens with a lot of people in this industry. They're in sort of what they call the break fix model, where just like a plumber, they come when something is broken. Right. Our model is slightly different in that when we become your total IT department, we've got a handle on things in theory before they break, ideally to prevent them from breaking. Doesn't mean that nothing ever will, but we try to have a more kind of complete approach to what we've got going on and give people a better experience all around, not just when it's an emergency.
Well, you know, and what's cool about having somebody like you in your company in your back pocket is that you can ask questions all the time and not make some mistakes. I think I made a costly mistake, you know, in that I do production, you know, for a living, right? And so I went and got a laptop computer, and I thought, well, I'm going to get the highest processing power, and I'm going to get the a video card inside it that is the top of the line because I do a lot of video production.
That makes sense,
too, right?
Sure.
Well, what I didn't know, and I do a lot of research. I think I'm pretty knowledgeable in that space. However, I didn't realize that the GPUs, the graphic processing unit, in a laptop is different, even though it has the same name. And you know, so you can have a NVIDIA, 3080 in a laptop is not as powerful as a 3080 that's in a desktop.
Yeah,
considerably, like 30%, 40%.
If you see those those high-end video cards that you see, they're literally $300-400 a piece just for the card.
Oh, yeah.
When you see it itself is the size of a laptop.
Absolutely.
So you can understand that when they try to jam that into a much smaller package, it's not going to be quite as powerful.
But if I would have had somebody like you, like I'm running a company, right, and I want to get a bunch of computers, he may have said, you know what, here's the difference that you're dealing with the laptop.
Well, and I mean, Tom, you went to school for this stuff.
Well, I did do a little of that too. Yeah,
this is your world. But you would still lean on someone like Matt
Absolutely.
as a company. Is that what people
That's
do? Even
the
though they
point
have
I'm trying to
insider
make.
people, they still.
That's exactly what we do. That's one of the things that I think sort of differentiates us is that because we are sort of proactive, we're there all the time. So we have boots on the ground. When we are somebody's full IT department, we have people in your building on a regular basis making rounds, checking in, not just when something goes wrong.
Sure.
And that type of just being around for questions like that. That question might not be something that would, you know, raise itself to the level of you putting in a support request or anything like that. But you see one of our folks in the hall, you might go, hey, I got a question about this laptop I'm looking into.
Right.
In that type of service and support, we find not just for personal questions, but for things going on in the business is just a huge advantage for us to be there, not only when you call, but to kind of have our finger on what's happening in the business.
And I would imagine you have different levels of IT help, right?
Sure.
You know, you could be all in, or you could be on a consultant basis, or you know,
absolutely,
or a fix-it basis, right?
Yeah. We we kind of talk about the complete where we do it all, but we do everything underneath as well. So. Our services are completely tailored to what the client, the customer needs. So it, depends on what's the best fit. We don't walk in and go, you must do this, and this is the only way to go, and this is the only price. And it's the whole idea is to be of value to you.
So the in-house, so right now, if you weren't here, I'd say, Tom, how do we deal with this? Or Brad, how do we deal with this? How are the inside people not like, oh, they're bringing in someone from the outside? Oh, they hate us. I can't believe isn't there a little of that going on with these companies or no?
Sometimes it depends. So in the last couple of weeks, we've engaged with companies that have just recently, specifically, we've had some that in that situation. In one was we came in and they were a little apprehensive because the folks weren't really given a heads up necessarily from management. But once they were, oh, you're here to help us. In the other place, the kind of not management members of the team are the ones who are bringing us in because they want help and they want to offload some things. So,
that's got to feel good.
Absolutely.
That's got to feel good. So you got the insider people saying, okay, we got this part. Can we work as a team? To the greater end here.
And that's the reality. The people that see that, there's more than enough work for everybody. So generally unless they're, sort of insecure for other reasons, they're happy to have us with them.
So if anybody's got a company, maybe they got 8 employees, maybe they got 80, maybe they got 300, whatever, they can have a conversation with you about how they can get things running smoother, better, so maybe not have to wait till it breaks.
100%.
Or if it's broken, 333-0999.
That's it.
That's a lot of 3s and 9s. So 333-0999. Tom, that's the big area code 315.
Yes.
Local IT department.com. Did I get that right?
It.
So
I would encourage people to give him a call and get your IT in the right direction. Thank you, Matt, and you have a great rest of the day.
Thanks, guys.
All right, coming up next, we're going to talk with Julie Fleck. She's a senior care advisor over at Care Patrol. We'll learn all about their business next on the local show on 570 WSYR.
Welcome back to The Local Show, a service of Gettys Federal Savings and Loan and Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts. The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in Central New York. The Local Show, locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now, here are your hosts, Tom and Steve.
We're back again, and that means that you are too. Welcome to The Local Show, where we champion local businesses, and you learn about maybe some businesses you haven't heard about or seen.
How about your business, Tom? Is the DJ business done? Are you toast for the year or what?
No, we're still going. Then we get into the Christmas stuff and all that. So
yeah. Well, the Christmas parties, you don't play Christmas music. It's just like a party, right?
Well, we do play some holiday favorites, yes.
Yes.
But
all I want for Christmas is you. Can you not play that?
When the dancing starts, we're into the normal wedding reception stuff.
Right.
It's all the same.
You sound so inspired.
Yeah. Well, it's good that at least people are having some Christmas parties this year.
That's true.
For a while.
I remember the old mass stories. You were like, I had to do it. No one could come near me, and it had to be within 10 feet. And you had to sign a permission slip and all that stuff.
And some of the venues were very nervous because they were worried the government was going to shut them down. Okay. Because that was at the point where Cuomo was still in and saying, well, we'll shut your restaurant down if people aren't dancing in pods.
Well, thank goodness we got Kathy Hochul now. Everything's better.
That improved. Not at all. Hey, we've got a new guest to the show, and her name is Julie Fleck, and she's a senior care advisor over at Care Patrol. I want to make sure I didn't pull out something over here. Hold on here.
You got all those cords plugged in?
Yeah.
It's my job to usually break things down.
My foot hit something. Anyway, senior care advisor at Care Patrol. How are you there, Julie?
I'm great. Thank you.
Are you from Syracuse? Or?
I am born and raised.
Oh, really? What high school did you go to?
JD.
You were a JD girl, huh? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. In the DeWitt area. My father was a music teacher for 110 years, and he had a lot of students from over there, a lot of private students from over at JD District and everything.
Nice.
Yeah, nice district. Pretty cool. So what got you into this business? Did you go to college for something related?
So I did go to college. I got my BA, but I actually got it for public relations and communications.
Oh, very nice.
I hate those people. They're all all the creatives that couldn't do math. That's where they shuffled us. But go ahead.
Right. Yes, math was my worst subject.
What college you go to?
I went to Central Connecticut, outside of Hartford.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hadn't heard of that one.
Yeah.
It was a great average size school. I loved it.
Yeah. Were you able to get into the city? Did you go to were you far away from New York City? Or?
Not far.
Okay,
no. And we could take the train right in.
Oh, that's kind of fun. Yeah, when you're young, yeah.
Yeah.
Great. So what got you over to Care Patrol?
So I actually have been working with seniors for many years. I started in high school volunteering when it was the Jewish home.
Oh, yeah.
And then I worked in that field, and I was in a senior living community for 11 years. And then I met Julie, and we totally hit it off, who is the owner of Care Patrol with her husband, Don. And here I am, and I love it.
So what is it? What do you do?
So we do a lot. We are basically, I would say, care navigators. So we work with families, and we help them find the right choice for their senior loved one.
So what are the right choices? So we're not talking look at the Amazon cart online. Choices for what?
Oh, that's great. So we are helping them to find if they need in-home care, we can arrange and set that up for them. It's private pay, as well as we are hands-on. So we do a full care discovery on this person, and we find out, their needs, their location choices, their finances, everything that encompasses that person. And if they need to go into, say, an independent living, assisted living, memory care, nursing, we set up the tours, we go with them, we kind of hold their hand through the whole process and make it easier for them.
So Tom, they're like my older sister was with Dad. Seriously,
she did all those things.
My sister is amazing. Don't tell her I said that. But but as Dad got in, there was all these choices and these things, and we ended up being able to keep Dad at home. Mm-hmm. But and he had some memory loss, but he didn't have Alzheimer's. But so as it goes on, it's very confusing because you have this social worker from this place, and then you got this program that's 30 days, but then there's rehab, but then you have to add. Well, wait a minute, is he on Medicare? Is Medicaid? And there's like all of these things that are overwhelming for families. Is that 100%. The space that you step into?
Yes. Yes. So we, a lot of times when they're actually in the hospital for something, they reach out to us and we go and we meet them. We meet their families. We're that person. We're a one-stop shop. So, which I wish they had when my dad was sick too. Right. And this is like so heartwarming for me to have that person. Everyone feels so comfortable being, once they start to work with us, they can breathe.
What is assisted living?
So assisted living is a community that you live in. It's one price, and it includes just about everything you're going to need. So it's your apartment or studio that you're in. There's morning care, evening care, medication management.
When you say care, so...
They can help you get dressed.
Okay.
They can help do all of those things. 3 meals a day, transportation, and activities, which is so important so they're not isolated.
So it's not long-term care?
No, nope. Long-term care is like a nursing home.
Okay.
So that's totally different.
And it's not independent living like a senior community, though there's a community element to it.
Correct, but we do independent living as well. So independent living, you can live at the community and you can still get your 3 meals a day and your transportation and your activities, and then you can add on levels of care if you need.
Okay, so are there a lot of options in these spaces?
A lot of options.
Yeah.
Okay.
It sounds expensive to me. Does it cost a lot of money to do your services?
Oh, our services are no cost. We're free.
No kidding.
Yeah. No.
See, it sounded like you would be charging oodles of money.
Right?
Yeah.
No. The family never pays for our services.
Wow. Then who pays for it?
Yeah. So how does that work?
How's it? Yeah.
So
you probably don't work for free.
I do not work for free.
Okay.
Although sometimes it feels like
yeah, that's what Tom says.
For the love of the game.
No, so we get paid through all of our relationships in the community.
I see. Okay.
Okay, so someone can. So I'm going to use the term social worker. I don't know if that's a good term or a bad term, but really, you're that independent social worker that, I don't know, deals the cards, says, I would suggest this rather than this. These people are good, but, this one's closer to where the kids live, or I don't know, things that are factors in the decisions that are made.
Yes. Also, I am not a social worker, but yes, I am that person who is aware of everything in the community. So we are in and out of these communities, the assisted livings, the independent livings, constantly. We know who's short-staffed, who has a lot of staff. We know if it's an active community.
If there's openings, right?
We know if there's openings. So we know what way to lead our families.
Okay, so if someone is a family, maybe it's a child or maybe it's a senior for a spouse, and they're trying to sort out all the options, they can have a conversation with you. Is that fair?
They call me, and then I go through everything with them.
Okay, so I've got carepatrol.com.
Yes.
Okay, is there a phone number that you know?
So our phone number is 315-530-1330.
1330. So
is my direct line.
There we go. So Julie, here's a direct line. You can have a conversation. That's the area code 315 times the big one.
The big one.
315-530-1330. So
yes.
write that up, 530-1330. They can have a conversation with you and just see, maybe you can help them out, maybe you can't, but you'll have a chat with them.
Absolutely.
There we go, Tom.
All right, that's Julie Fleck right there. She's a senior care advisor at Care Patrol. Thank you, and you have a great rest of the day, okay?
Thank you both. It was a pleasure meeting you.
Excellent. You too. All right, we're going to have conversations with Charlie Van Patten coming up in hour number 2. He is the owner of Mattress Makers. Chris Dambeck is the owner of Industry Standard USA. Brian Dumond, president of Geddes Federal Savings and Loan, will stop by, and then Troy Woffner is the CEO of the SPCA, and might have a pet or two with him or something like that, and we'll talk about their situation. Stick around. Hour number 2 of the local show starts really soon.
It's The Local Show on News Radio 570 WSYR, a service of Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts and Geddes Federal Savings and Loan. The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in Central New York. The Local Show is locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now, your hosts, Tom and Steve.
Welcome back and welcome in. This is hour number 2 of the local show. Get ready for engaging interviews with Charlie Van Patten. He's the owner of Mattress Makers. Chris Dambach is the owner of Industry Standard USA. Brian Dumond, president of Geddes Federal Savings and Loan. And then, of course, Troy Woffner is going to wrap us up, and he's the CEO of the SPCA.
He let the dogs out, Tom.
Yes, he did. He was formerly of the New York State Fair.
Yeah.
So we'll have a nice conversation with him.
Yeah.
Right now we say hello to Charlie Van Patten. He's the owner of Mattress Makers. How are you, Charlie?
Very good, gentlemen. How are you today?
Very good. Very good.
Hey, I got a little trivia for you today.
Oh, no. It's always got a little something.
Tom and I look terrified.
Look out.
Okay, we're going to say go ahead until we say stop.
I'm going to tell you why mattresses are fat.
They're fat mattresses. Okay.
Fat mattresses.
Fat, okay.
Sealy of Ohio, which is owned by Ernie Williger.
For radio listeners, Charlie's looking at Tom. Go ahead.
Yes, when we said fat.
Yes. Thick. Okay. That appears too, right? Some thicker than others.
So why are they fat?
Because this guy named Ernie Williger, who owned the Sealy of Ohio plant, incidentally, Sealy was 27 privately owned plants, and Ernie Williger wanted to own them all. Mm-hmm. And he was like a Rockefeller, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
He started shipping all over the country to knock the other plants out of business.
Yeah.
And one of the ways he cut costs was that he shipped mattresses to California. He built a plant and built box springs, so he was selling Sealy mattresses and private box springs, which gave him a big profit margin.
Yeah.
He actually went to Sealy in Albany, New York, and told them, I want to buy your plant, and this is what I'm willing to pay. He told them, if you don't want to sell it, that's fine. He says, but I'll come into your territory and destroy your company.
Mm-hmm. And they believed him?
Oh, they bought. They sold, I mean.
Yeah, they sold.
They actually sold the company. And so in this period from 1970 to 1990, he killed the mattress business.
Really?
There was no profit. There was no money left. So at the end of the time, when he owned them all except Patterson, New Jersey, who was a friend of his,
right,
still a privately owned Sealy plant, the only one in the country, he decided, well, how am I going to get this back? How am I going to make more money? Very easy. Start making them thicker.
Oh.
So it went up an inch, went up 2 inches.
How does that make you more money? Making them thicker?
You can charge more money because of the perceived value.
So it looks a perceived value. Okay.
Yeah. In other words, wow, that must be better because it's thicker.
Right.
And people are dealing with that today too. You know, a factory direct in Texas, and he says, less is more. And that's the truth because, you know, they got these airbed mattresses and they got 6 inches of foam on top of a bag of foam. And, you know, you're supposed to blow that up. Well, you don't blow up foam.
No. Yeah.
You got 6 inches of foam. You're going to be in a hole. You're going to stay in a hole.
So bigger isn't better. What's that fairy tale where there was a pea, that there's a mattress or something like
Princess and the Pea?
Yeah.
And they put the pea. So what you're saying is you put a pea on it, you're not going to feel it because there's so much stuff there, you know.
So thick, yes.
So what makes your mattresses a little different than some of these store-bought or some of the brand names?
Well, here's the bottom line. What are you getting from us? 108 years experience. I mean, go back prior to the 70s. Our experience is, you know, roll edge, 8-way hand tied, which are really not relevant today, but things like how to buy cotton, how to buy wool. We had an Irishman that worked for us for 45 years, and he taught me everything about the mattress business going back to 1915, because his first job was with Therapeutic Mattress Company in 1914. He always lives to tell everybody. He says, I live to tell people. He says, I was a shanty Irish living on Teal Ave next to the canal.
Wow.
But
yeah, that's a history right there.
So
Don't slam the Irish. Tom's wife's Irish. He'll hear it. Yeah.
my grandmother is Irish too.
Yeah.
So that's important knowledge, because when we buy cotton, I can analyze that cotton like nobody else can to say, oh, this batch was good or this batch was bad, send it back.
Right.
So we're going to be able to source old-fashioned materials, because we do a lot of organic, and get it to the right quality.
So right now, the seasons are changing. Tom, the seasons are changing.
Yes, they are.
Is this a decent time to say, you know what, my camper needed mattresses. I can't believe we did that. My boat, maybe a larger boat has Is this a time to maybe bring in what's left of the one that they pull in there and have something made? Is this the season to do that when they're not in it, or are you too busy to do that kind of stuff?
No, it's a perfect time, because come spring we get very busy with camper and boat mattresses, and those boat mattresses that go in the bow with the curved. They're complicated, so it takes time to build.
Yeah. Does anybody else do those?
Not locally, There's a shipyard up in Maine, and there's one in Florida. Those two people will do it, but we'll do it and save you half the price.
Okay. Another thing too, Steve, people come in from out of town. They want to stay in people's guest rooms, right? So you might have grandparents coming in, parents coming in from different cities and
Isn't
states.
that what hotels are for, Tom?
Well, but a lot of people will have them come to their house.
Okay.
So now if you're thinking about, oh gosh, the guest room needs another mattress, we've had that same mattress in there for forever. Perfect. Now's the time to do that. Yeah. And the thing with Charlie is a lot of times it's only a couple of days, right, before you can get one?
Yeah, and you have to buy the right mattress, because, we had a customer buy a new mattress. He called me up. Oh, and this was just 3 weeks ago. Thing's too hard. I can't sleep on it. There's something wrong here. I went to visit him and talk to him. The day later, he calls me up and says, thank you. I'm delighted. It's perfect.
Okay.
That's
what
fine.
happened?
But if you got a guest bed and somebody's come in there, they don't have time to break it in. So there's a particular type of mattress that you want, unless you don't want them to come back,
Right.
I got a mattress I'll give you if you don't want guests to come back. But if you want them to be comfortable, buy a particular type, which we can show you.
Where does state-of-the-art and old and tradition and craftsmanship fit in? I was over taking pictures of Charlie here a few months back. The sewing machine, Tom, looked like it was, like Edison invented this thing. This sewing machine was this amazing thing. Charlie, am I wrong? Talk to me about that.
Absolutely. And that's another bugaboo with me that, we got the new improved Tide, right? We got this special mattress with this. It's stupid. I mean,
tell us how you feel.
Yeah. Everything they say is wrong about new mattresses. Bottom line, if they're so good, tell me this. I told you guys in the past that I check what comes back when we sell a mattress and we come back.
Right.
I mean, every mattress, I won't mention the names. I should mention, they told me not to mention the names, but every brand mattress that's the top of the line, we get it back. Why? If it's so good, why didn't they go back and buy another one?
Right.
I mean, without mentioning the name, the number bed.
Yeah.
Those seem to be popping up extreme. I mean, we're getting 1 or 2 a week back of those. That's how bad they are.
We'll just give the numbers. We won't give the names. Right. So I know you've got the little outlet there across from Chick-fil-A in Cicero.
Correct.
Okay, that people can walk in. But the factory, walk right in, you see it on Bridge Street behind Henry Wilson Jewelers. Everybody probably knows that. And that ski shop's right across the street. We had those folks on last week, Tom.
Yes.
On Bridge Street. But people can go in there and see what it is, talk to Carol, talk to Charlie, and maybe swing by, take a nap. But
yes.
It's the only factory, and we've said that before, but all the other mattress places, they buy them from people like you and then mark them up, right?
Yeah, I mean, you go with these people, they tell you, we got 50 mattresses. Well, wow. So what? You know what they're going to sell you? Yeah. They're going to sell you what the boss says to say and what you're going to make the biggest commission. It may or may not be a function of quality, but it's definitely a function of bottom line. That's the bottom line, and we don't deal that way.
Mattress maker Syracuse, and we just said they're in Bridge Street across from Henry Wilson, behind Henry Wilson Jewelers.
Yes.
Up on Route 11
and across from Chick-fil-A.
We're hiding in the back.
All right. Thank you, Charlie. You have a great rest of the day, okay?
You too.
All right. Chris Dambeck is coming up next. He's the owner of Industry Standard USA. We'll find out all about his business next on The Local Show.
Welcome back to The Local Show, a service of Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts and Gettys Federal Savings and Loan. The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in Central New York. The Local Show, locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now, here are your hosts, Tom and Steve.
You found your way back to The Local Show right here on 570 WSYR 106.9 FM. And of course, you can see us on the video stream, which is YouTube for those of you keeping up with things.
So Tom, did you bring your sleeping device with you?
What device?
I don't know. Didn't Dr. Berry wrap something around your nose? Is that in the queue?
No, he just said you have the sleep apnea, so you're going to have to deal with that.
Everybody has sleep apnea.
You would think, yeah. So,
that wasn't even a thing.
I'm getting a quality 3.5 hours sleep each night, no matter what time I go to bed.
Your dad is the healthiest 80-year-old in the world. Does he have it?
I don't think so. But he's been a woodwind specialist, musician for 50 years.
So he's been blowing hard in a different way than you.
Breathing, yeah. And I have the sinus condition, I have those polyps, so that could be obstructive.
Yeah, you're a walking medical journal, Tom.
Well, the thing is, if I would, have any hope of achieving anything in life, I'd be much better off. I'd lose weight, and I'd get my weight back down to fighting weight, and I'd be back in the gym.
And you'd get real friends, not me. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, and then I'd be like I used to be, all buff and looking good.
You were all of that in a bag of chips.
I used to be a contender. Yeah, now here I am. Yeah. Let's talk to real people who are successful and have a life, and that would be Chris Dambach right now. He is the owner of Industry Standard USA. How are you, Chris?
Good. Good morning, guys. How are you?
Good. Good to see you. Hey, where are you from anyway? You from Syracuse? Or?
So I'm from Syracuse. Moved away to Virginia for a few years when I was younger, and then moved back. But my family is living in Liverpool right now.
What side of town did you grow up on?
I was in Cicero, North Syracuse.
Oh, you were? Okay, that's where Steve's from. Yeah.
I grew up in Cicero. Tom lives there now.
Yeah,
and the real question, are you 090 or 088? Because Liverpool has two.
088.
088, okay. So you're the old part of Liverpool, the old people. Okay.
Yeah, that's good.
Nice spot to raise a family. Got 4 young sons, married my high school sweetheart. So we're
that's
enjoying
fabulous.
it.
Oh, right.
Enjoying it.
So what high school did you go? You went to CNS?
CNS.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep,
That's great.
Wrestling, soccer, track.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
good.
my gosh,
And
one
you
of those
guys?
guys. I was a varsity golf nerd. Thanks for asking.
Okay.
But I still play golf at 60 years old.
Nice.
Okay. And Tom, you could hear it's gone downhill.
Yeah, I've gone down. I used to be a big weightlifter, but I went to CBA. I played football over at CBA.
So my oldest son, he's in CBA now.
Yeah.
Yep, that's exciting.
I was there when it was all boys.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So,
Yeah, Jimmer's son was at CBA, right?
yeah, I think,
Yeah, Jimmer from Chick-fil-A. His son
also over there.
Over there, yeah.
Nice.
Great.
So, Chris, did you go to college for anything specific, or did you go into another branch of service or something?
So what I did was after high school, I went into OCC. I did that for about a semester, and I begged my dad, "Hey, Dad, come on, let me get out of this damn school. I want to join the family business of real estate." So he said, "Yeah, that's fine. If you don't want to, go to college, come join the family business." And I got involved with real estate on the investment side. So I was working with New York City investors, helping them buy 2 families up to 4 families, fixing them and flipping them.
Okay, gotcha.
Blast.
Here in town.
Here in town.
Okay, gotcha.
Yep.
Awesome.
Okay.
Yep. Did that until, about 25. Wanted more of a challenge and decided to join the Marine Corps. I saw them in the mall at Destiny one day with a pull-up bar. And
Are you tough enough?
I
Yeah.
raised a hand in the air. Yes, I am. Did 20 pull-ups. And shortly after, went off to boot camp, the Marine Corps.
Nice.
Wow.
How many years you spent in the service?
I was in for about 5 years.
Right.
Yep.
Very good.
Yeah, my youngest son did that. There was the Marines, but the Air Force was like, yes, we get all the Marines. They get our leftovers. So actually, he's in the Air Force.
Okay, there you go. So my dad's Army. We're always trading jokes.
There we go.
My grandfather was Air Force. So the 3 of us together, it was a great time.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yep.
So you come back to Syracuse to roost after the military service.
Yep.
And then what do you do?
So I was going through physical therapy at the local Syracuse VA, which is a great VA hospital.
Yes, we love them over there.
Blessed. They were number one in customer service for years.
Yeah.
And getting.
Did you get hurt or something?
I got a little injured overseas, banged up a little bit. So I was in physical therapy. The guys are saying, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? One guy, hey, I'm going to go work for Dad's construction company. One guy, I'm going to use my GI Bill. I didn't know. I didn't really have a plan. So I said, I'm just going to mow lawns until I figure it out. So I started mowing lawns, residential lawns around town in North Syracuse and Cicero. Got some flyers at Kinko, sprinkled them around the neighborhood, had 35 clients overnight, residential. And then we blew it up. I mean, over the last, let's see, this February will be our 15th year anniversary.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, we made Inc. 5,000. We now have 55 team members sprinkled all over the Northeast.
Doing what?
What
are your primary services?
Doing grounds maintenance, mowing lawns. Then we got into mowing lawns commercially, and then for the government, for the federal government.
Okay.
And about 5 years ago, we got into construction and started building parking lots and getting into site work, excavation, heavy civil, moving dirt. And it's been a ride. It's been a fun time. You know, we've been blessed. And we've just been reinvesting every penny back into the company. And, you know, we're going to be on the I-81 project. Just got word a couple weeks ago. We're going to be demoing some bridges.
Wow. So you a contractor or direct contractor? So Sessler, okay, they're a contractor, familiar with them.
Yep. So we're GC now. So we're a general contractor, but we like to self-perform a lot of our own heavy civil.
Okay. What does that mean? I don't know.
So like if a bridge has got to be knocked down, is that your thing?
So that's not our niche. That would be Sessler's niche.
Okay.
But we're going to be working with them a little bit. And they're going to be teaching us along the way. And we're going to be one of their subcontractors on the I-81 project.
Wow.
So,
what
excited.
What do you do? Like, what's the business? So they knock it down, then you build it up.
We're going to be trucking. We're going to have some laborers on the job. We're going to have some heavy equipment operators on the job helping assist with the demolition.
Gotcha.
We just found out this morning we're going to be a part of the initial stages of the Micron project up in Clay.
Fabulous.
So we're really excited about that.
We've been talking about that a lot.
Okay.
That's been a big topic.
Do you lay pavement? Do you lay pavement?
We work with some really good subcontractors that do. Okay. Over the next few years, we'll probably self-perform our own asphalt installation.
You build
just
bridges?
Exciting time.
Do you build any bridges?
No, we build parking lots. And,
mainly,
for example, on the rest stops, now on the throughways, you see how they're knocking them all down?
Yes.
So we're performing some of the site work on some of those rest areas.
Okay, I get you.
Yeah.
Digging for the mechanical, plumbing, electrical contractors.
How big of a geographic footprint are you doing that?
Geez, we're down in New York City in a big way. We're down in the Hudson Valley, all over New York State. In our grounds maintenance division, we're in Memphis, Tennessee, Massachusetts, Long Island, New Jersey.
That's amazing.
So there's two divisions in the company. There's services division, lawn, snow, janitorial, window washing, and then there's the construction division.
How much of it is public work?
It's quite a bit. So I would say about 80%.
Okay. Do you want the private stuff, or if you?
It's a nice blend. It is a nice blend. It's nice to have some of the private work too. We're trying to get up on the hill right now with SU. So we're working towards that. We were the presenting sponsor this season for men's and women's SU soccer.
Oh,
really
nice.
Excited to be able to be the presenting sponsor. It's great to bring the kids and see the name up on the screen, the company name. So we're hoping to be up, working at SU over the next couple of years here soon.
Do you fully own the business, or do you have a partner?
Yep, 100%.
Oh, okay.
And it's veteran owned. You're a veteran.
Veteran owned. Yep.
Okay, that's fabulous.
Very exciting.
Looks like you have fun. You seem engaged.
It's controlled chaos with me. My wife, she's got to keep one arm on my leg pulling me down because I'm always trying to reach for the stars. It's a good balance there. But we have fun every day, and it's not a Groundhog Day coming to work, I'll tell you that, especially with construction. I'm learning every day. There's always little fires to put out.
Well, so if businesses are listening and they hear something that they like in you, they can connect with you at industrystandardusa.com.
Yeah.
They can find you there.
Yep.
So that's Industry Standard USA, and maybe have a conversation. Maybe they have a project. Maybe they just want to partner with you in something.
Yeah.
But you sound like somebody that'd be good to know.
That'd be great.
Excellent.
Be great. Yeah.
Well, look, Chris, thank you so much for what you do, and thank you for your service, too.
Thank you so much.
All right. Have a great rest of the day, okay?
Thanks, guys.
Brian Dumon's coming up next. He's the president of Get Us Federal Savings and Loan right here on the local show on 570 WSYR.
Welcome back to The Local Show, a service of Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts and Geddes Federal Savings and Loan. The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in Central New York. The Local Show, locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now, here are your hosts, Tom and Steve.
Back in the trenches with Tom and Steve right here on The Local Show on 570 WSYR 106.9 FM. Thank you for joining us on this fine fall day.
Is it a trench or a groove, Tom? It's a trench. Sounds like
with you, we're in a trench.
It's what it felt like. You when you said trench, you looked at me. I don't know what that meant. Exactly.
I think of being in the trenches with you, and there's like dragons and hellfire and everything.
Yeah, you didn't say rut.
No, well, it's kind of a rut. It's a trench is a rut is a smaller trench.
To me, it's a groove, Tom. We're in a groove.
All right, you go in. You go with that. Tell people about Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts.
Well, if you were listening last hour, you heard John Murphy. They did the big workshop over there with Sheila Senior Home Care for dementia care. But if you haven't protected your home and life savings, what is that? You haven't protected your home and life savings. So nursing home, yes, that'll cost you a fortune. But maybe you just need a will. Maybe you don't. You should have the conversation. And you, like John said, talk to the case managers. You can call over there, 370-9977. You can call over there and they'll answer your questions. 370-9977. Leave a message. I don't think they're going to be there on the weekend. I hope they took the weekend off. But give them a call or safeharborwillsandtrusts.com, Tom.
Very nice. Brian Dumond has joined us. He's the president of Geddes Federal Savings and Loan. Thank you, Brian, for being here.
Well, thank you for inviting me.
You know what happened, Tom?
The Giants lost?
Yeah, so no. Everyone in Syracuse is like, Bills, pretty much, right? And the Giants won. So Brian got to revel in his 2 wins they're going to have this year. So how did that feel to be a winner for once, Brian?
Oh, that's a really loaded question there, you know? But I'm very, very happy that my Giants won. It kind of... just, turned the weekend around.
Mm-hmm. Did the Giants win or did the Bills lose?
Yes. It's like the reverse of what everyone would expect would happen.
Yeah, boy.
Back in the 80s, who were the star players on the Giants? Like
Andre Reed.
I'm not asking you. I'm talking to Brian.
On the Giants?
Andre
Reed?
Yeah.
Was he Bills?
No. Yes, he was.
I'm going to be quiet.
Reed was Bills.
Okay, I'm sorry. Was this somebody else?
Through that era,
you take a look at some of these. Joe Morris.
Joe Morris. That was it.
Little Joe. And he used to
fast
be
as lightning.
Right.
Yeah.
And he was amazing. Of course, Lawrence Taylor. Carl Banks. The defense there was amazing. Right. It was. That was a great time to be a Giants fan.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying.
There hasn't been a lot of great times since then.
22 years later.
But I do remember those days. Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
So what's new, wild, and exciting over at Geddes?
Well, Geddes deposits. Deposits are great. CD rates continue to be a customer's dream, I think, is the best way to say it. Years and years and years, they were next to nothing, and now you're looking at more than 5% for a CD.
Wow!
When I cruise down the road, you see signs. It's like rates. It's 29%, or I'm exaggerating, but then
I'll say
terms and conditions apply. Do terms and conditions apply?
Terms and conditions apply at most of those high rates that you're seeing. And the thing about it is they put them up on the billboards so you see the big rate, but you can't read the fine print unless you're going to drive off the road into a trench, But
what might the small print say?
Yeah, but
if you could read it.
So if you could read it, usually what it says is new money only, meaning you have to take money out of another financial institution and bring it in. You can't get that from your own financial institution. You come in, I have a $5,000 in my checking account. I want that rate. Oh, I'm sorry, that's not new money.
Oh,
isn't that just fundamentally wrong? You're not taking care of your customers. So with Geddes Federal, no new money. We don't say that. We got a rate of 5.2. Guess what? It's 5.2. Come on over. Okay. You want to move it from your checking account? Great. If you want to bring it in from another financial institution, great too. We take care of people. It's really kind of a neat thing. The other game that they play is must have a checking account is one.
Oh, right.
So in addition to no new money, well, you have to have a qualified checking account. And to get that, you have to do this, this, and this to make it qualify. And we don't do that.
Yeah, you don't play those games.
You know, the rate's the rate. Come on in. You got it. You don't have to jump through the hoops.
Yeah.
How about the housing market? I know that inventory is still slow, but we're making more progress with Micron and all these things. Have you seen an uptick in mortgages or
mortgages continue to be steady?
Good,
but not like they were like a year or two ago. A year or two ago, we were getting overrun.
Yeah.
Now it's nice and steady. I think the mortgage department is happy because they're busy, but they're not frantic. And I think that's a good thing. So now's a good time. But home equity lines of credit and home equity loans seems to be where most of the action is.
Gotcha.
And I think people are gearing up for the fall and the winter because you're not going to be starting anything new on the outside of your house. You're probably not going to be buying a new house right now if you haven't started looking already. But boy, you have your existing house and that kitchen, you know, maybe now's the time to do that.
Are those open terms, or does someone pick a term, or is it a variable or a fixed? How are people managing that right now if they borrow off their home?
Okay, well, if you borrow off your home and you have a home equity, there's a term to it.
Okay.
Okay, and so that's the thing that you focus in on. What the home equity lines of credit are really kind of a neat product, and the reason is you don't have to draw on them. Okay, not yet anyway. So I go and I sit down and I say, hey, I'd like a $10,000 home equity line of credit. All right, okay, you're approved for it.
Okay.
We're not going to force you to take $5,000 immediately.
Okay, so
interest on
so I could. Okay, so I'm not paying. So it's like my Zoey Advertising. We have a commercial account, and we have a commercial line of credit that they granted us.
Right.
Not using it right now.
Correct.
It's there, but I'm not having to pay anything for it.
Right. Now, a home equity loan is different. Home equity loan, you are taking it because you're going to do something right now. Okay. So there's a difference there. Usually the rate is different as well. Because if the bank takes on greater risk, you may not use it, then the rate's going to be a little higher.
Okay.
That kind of thing.
And you have a lot of different flavors of mortgages as well, right? So there's for first-time home buyers and such.
We have for low to moderate income folks, we have one program which is excellent. We have first-time home buyer program. We have adjustables. The adjustables are really good right now too because they tend to have a little bit lower rates. And as we've talked about in the past, how many people own their homes for more than 10 years? Not many. Right. So if you could lock in a 10-1 ARM at a lower rate,
why not?
I wouldn't.
Yeah, right. Why wouldn't you?
No, that's true. That's true. So we described the Geddes location as directly across from the hill you can't slide down anymore. Is that a fair description?
That's
I don't mean to be that that guy with because if we have any years to us, that was the fun spot.
That was right in Westfield Plaza, and the goal of going down that hill was try to make it to the road.
Right, exactly.
It's so true.
At least when I was a kid.
Yeah,
and then there's the other location in Manlius, which I believe there's a fishing hole there that you like.
Right at there's the car wash, there's a fishing stream, and the diner that's fabulous that sits right there with the best Eggs Benedict going. So they can walk in either place, or they can go online to gettysfederal.com and check it out, and you have online things and products. But I don't know. I'm the kind of guy.
A lot of local employees.
And they've worked there, I don't know, forever.
For years.
We've had somebody, two people with 40 years recently, and somebody that's going to be 44.
Excellent. All right. Well, thank you. Brian Dumond right there, president of Geddes Federal Savings and Loan. You have a great rest of the day, okay?
Hey, thanks. You too.
All right. That's awesome. Okay. We've got Troy Waffner coming up next. He's the CEO of the SPCA right here on the local show on 570 WSYR.
Welcome back to The Local Show, a service of Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts and Geddes Federal Savings and Loan. The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in Central New York. The Local Show, locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now, here are your hosts, Tom and Steve.
Welcome back and welcome in. You've got the local show right here on 570 WSYR 106.9 FM. Tom and Steve making it all happen and turning the knobs and flipping switches.
I don't do it. Tom, you don't let me turn the knobs and flip the switches.
And actually, I don't do as much of that anymore.
When I go to do it, you're like, don't touch that.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. It's hard enough just having you sit there. But it's a great pleasure of ours to bring back on the show Troy Waffner. He is the CEO of the SPCA. How are you there, Troy?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Good.
Doing all right. I've got, Troy, you and I were talking before the show, and Tom doesn't know it. But no, so what I understand is you take trade-ins on Beagles. Because Tom's got one. It's high mileage. Is it true you take a trade-in?
We'd take a look at it, absolutely. We're like Billy Fusillo. We'll trade anything.
Right, yeah. Now, Mikey was nice in his prime.
So was I.
Yeah, right. I guess we all were.
Late model now.
Oh, goodness. Yeah, those Beagles, I'll tell you what. He's just, they get so heavy. And it's a lot like me. It really is. He's mirroring me, and I don't like that. But you got a bunch of Beagles in there not too long ago. You were in the news.
Yeah, a couple of weeks ago, we were investigating a cruelty case out in Oneida County, and we went in. We arrested the person for unsanitary. I mean, she fed the dogs, which is good. But
the SPCA can arrest people?
Believe it or not, I can't.
Right.
But yes, we can.
No kidding.
As the CEO, do you actually go out on these things?
I did go out with them to get the dogs. We showed up. It was like a double wide trailer. The woman said, I think I have 40 Beagles in
Oh, my goodness.
Well, we got them all rounded up finally, including two litters of puppies. There ended up being 61 Beagles.
Oh, my gosh.
Along with 4 pregnant mothers and 2 litters. And she knew who the mothers were. She didn't know who the puppies belonged to. So we just put them all in a room together.
The mothers were dogs, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And they're co-parenting right now. It seems to be going well. So,
oh my God, that's we all go wow, but it's sad. Because
who would do that?
Well, someone that's
who
struggling.
Has the time?
It's not that. It's someone that has a big heart that's struggling, and it gets away from them. Is that fair?
That's exactly what this was. She wasn't breeding them to sell. She started out with probably 2 or 4 or 6. She couldn't get them spayed or neutered. They kept reproducing. You end up at some point you become overwhelmed. It overwhelms everything in you. You don't know what to do. She didn't open her door. She didn't let them outside because she didn't want the neighbors to know about them. But she did have a big heart. I mean, she fed them. She did not abuse them in the traditional sense.
Right.
She just couldn't take care of them anymore.
Yeah, so you have some dogs for rent or sale, I guess, over here?
We have a lot of dogs. We have 61 Beagles. And then, of course, we just took in a litter of Labradoodles. Plus the dogs we have anyways. The dogs who come and go as part of dog control and other cruelty cases.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're...
How old are the Labradoodles?
Oh. Go ahead.
Well, how old are the Labradoodles?
They're probably about 4 days at this point.
Oh, no kidding. That young.
They were brought to us on the day they were born.
Oh, good golly. Now, are they ready to be adopted? Or?
No animal leaves the shelter until it's been spayed or neutered.
Okay.
So it's probably they have to be 8 or 10 weeks before they hit that point.
So a while, yeah, another month.
Yeah, but we just, was 3 of the mothers, 3 of the 4 Beagles that were pregnant have given birth now. We're waiting on 1 more, so...
Good golly. So you got a lot of Beagles that are ready to go.
You got a lot of Beagles.
Beagles are a popular dog.
People they are. Beagles. I mean, like I say, Mikey was nice when he was younger. Now it's just an old curmudgeon.
How much does he eat, Tom?
Well, I very much limit him, but he doesn't stop licking the floor and sniffing. And, it doesn't matter what you do. You drop a crumb and he just runs into the other room.
But you're right. Beagles are good dogs. They're good family dogs. They're the right size. They will get fat if you let them. And they have that bark that the neighbors probably don't like.
Oh, my goodness.
I like they're the ones that howl at a fire whistle, right?
Yeah, well, they do everything. Yeah. Now, Mikey doesn't do that, but when they do bark, it's not like rough. It's
yeah. So now we've got
sounds like they're in pain.
We've got our son's dog temporarily. Yes. So we've got a Labrador with Zoey. But the Labrador has a bark collar, and I don't know if people maybe have different feelings about it. So when he barks, he's reminded not to bark. But the thing in there that's a little weird, but Zoey loves it. If Zoey barks, his goes off. So Zoey has quickly become the 13-year-old alpha dog. So if the puppy kind of gets into Zoey's face, Zoey goes, the dog goes, and then, so it actually has worked pretty well. What's the process of adopting a pet?
So the process is there's an application. You can do it online. You can come to the office. It's a pretty basic application. We ask about do you own your home? Do you rent? If you rent, we get your landlord's approval, make sure that he allows it. And then we check with your veterinarian and we make sure the animals you currently have are up to date in terms of their vaccinations. Other than that, you can come in. It's a fairly easy process. Most people pass. And then you can adopt a dog. You can meet the dogs face to face. You can get a feel for them all.
Very nice.
So can people just wander over and go, hey, can I look at the dogs? I mean, is that a thing? Or do you have to be through a process before you can do that?
People come in to see the rabbits, the guinea pigs, the cats, the dogs. The thing is, until you have an approved application, other than seeing them in their kennel, we don't take them out for you to meet them. But
you can't play with them and stuff.
But as soon as you have an approved application, you can come in and play with them.
Okay, so when is that? What are the hours? When can someone do that?
Our hours are 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday through Saturday. And like I said, you're better off just filling the application out online because then we get it all approved.
You don't have to get one if you fill an application.
No.
You signed up for a dog.
And we get a lot of people who probably put in multiple applications to multiple agencies looking for the dog they want. We hold them for 3 months in case you come
So
back.
the SPCA and people that have been around a while hasn't moved in forever, right?
Since 1955.
On Malloy Road,
yeah. Right
near Thompson?
Right between Thompson and Town Line.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can stop in there. We haven't moved. We're not moving as far as I know.
Yeah, right.
It's not like you don't know anybody there.
Well, I mean, and this is kind of a rare thing where you have a glut of really adoptable type animals. Right?
Absolutely. A lot of people come in looking for small dogs. We take in strays and stuff. We get a lot of pit bulls, which are wonderful dogs too, but a lot of people want the smaller breeds. And,
right.
And this is great because it provides them with what they're looking for.
So when is Beagle Fest?
So you could actually sign up for one and be ready for Christmas. This could be like, a nice Christmas present.
If you should get a dog for Christmas.
Yeah.
Do people hey, what a great idea. We get a dog for Christmas and it wasn't a great idea?
Oh yeah, no, we get returns and we always tell people, if you get the dog home and for whatever reason you decide you don't want it or it doesn't work out, bring it back to us. I mean, there's no charge to bring it back to us and we'll take it back in and work with it and get it readopted. Yeah. And we don't allow people to give animals for gifts.
Okay. Anything new and big on the horizon for the SPCA?
There isn't. We're starting to look at some things planning out next year. I mean, eventually we either need to do a mass modernization of the facility or really probably the better bet is just start looking at building a new facility down there. It's cheaper these days. The other thing is, that we have the biggest call for and you see it with the 61 Beagles, our low-cost spay and neuter programs and vaccination programs. A lot of folks own animals, and they, they can. They don't have the money to necessarily get them spayed or neutered. So we're looking at kind of expanding on that.
What's the general cost of that?
For us, it would probably be around $200 if we did. I'm told if you go to a vet these days, it's $500 or $600.
Wow.
Okay. Are you still looking for dog walkers like Tom that can get his exercise and walk dogs?
We always look for dog walkers. They are fantastic.
So they can go to CNY SPCA and sign up. So they just can schedule it and walk dogs?
Oh, yeah. They just show up. I think it's between 10 and 3 every day, and they can walk the dogs they want to walk and get them out. And
how about volunteers? Do you look for volunteers?
We always look for volunteers to do everything
internally.
From social media to working the front desk to walking dogs to cleaning kennels, whatever you want to do.
Excellent. I volunteer Steve.
Well, we'd have to do a background check.
Oh, yeah. He
crosses that off.
Well, Troy Waffner, thank you so much for all you do and all your staff does over there. Really, we appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay. Steve, that's going to wrap up the local show, so you can go walk your Labrador
I am going to be doing some fishing this weekend, Tom, so I'll have some pictures for you early next week of some walleye that are currently in the lake, but are going to be in my freezer.
That would be excellent. All right. On behalf of the local show, Zoey Advertising, and Tom and Steve, God bless you and your families. Take a walk today and every day with a family member or a friend. It keeps the weight down and the mind clear. The local show is heard every Saturday morning from 11 to 1, and then again on Sunday morning from 7 to 9. Listen together with a friend. Until next week, get down to business and keep doing business locally. Tell your friends about the local show right here on 570 WSYR, 106.9 FM, the iHeartRadio app, and on YouTube at Zoey Advertising 3809.